Good day everyone. This tutorial is for the LogixPro software, the PLC simulator that I was telling you about. So I'm going to show you the basic. This is the main page that appears just instantly after you have initiated the software. Okay, so let's see the main buttons. Here we have the most important button of them all. It's simulations. Here we can display a menu that it's going to show a different selection of a lot of simulations, exercises like simulators that we can interact with. But for this introduction, I'm going to show you the input output simulator. Okay, and as you can see in the simulation window, there appears different columns of inputs and outputs. We have 16 different inputs in the first column and 16 more different inputs in the third column, and 16 outputs in the second and fourth column. If we expand this window, we can see that appears the binary code for the different inputs, but I'm not going to talk about those in this video. We are just going to work with the normal input outputs. And besides, from the sequence or number of the different inputs, we have what represents a physical button of the simulator. Okay, so this is going to be like the buttons that we can use, if you remember the practices in the workshop with the relays and the contactors. This is what is going to represent the symbol, push buttons, and we can change them by pressing them with the right button. Okay, so it's going to change in different positions. We have a limit switch, open, closed, interrupter. We have a push button, normally open push button, and normally closed push button. Okay, notice that when a device or symbol is closed, then the input indicator changes to red, meaning conduction or continuity in the circuit. Okay, so for this purpose, I'm just going to work with a normally open push button. Remember, change it by clicking with the right button. Okay, and the outputs are just LEDs or lamps, if you want to see them that way. Okay, just these are going to glow or turn on in different colors, and we can change the color with a normal right click. We click over the lamp, and then this menu is displayed. After it is displayed, then we can select the color that we want. I'm going to keep it yellow. Okay, and that's the window of the simulator, the input output simulator. Let's now talk about the workspace. This is going to be the most similar to what could be a programming ladder for a PLC, like the RC Logix 500. So here we have the rung for the ladder diagram, and let's now talk about the buttons that we can use to construct the ladder diagram. Okay, we have the first button is the rung button. If we click over it, then a lot of new rungs are displayed. We have the branch, like the memory or latch, like that we used on the start-stop exercise with the contactors in the workshop. For positioning one of these rungs, I'm going to select the rung that I want. Could be any of those, and then just click over the rung button, the rung branch button. Okay, let's see. For example, if I want branch right over this rung, then I just select this rung and click the rung button, the branch button. Okay, and the branch is displayed. These are going to be the most used buttons for constructing the ladder, okay? And for interaction elements, we have normally open, normally closed, and what is the output element, okay? So for this, I'm going to build a and diagram and a diagram for the and function and a diagram for the or function. So what happens if I want to, how can I erase, what happens if I want to erase, and how can I erase elements that I don't want or I don't need? You can simply just look for a point where it can be selected and just click the supreme or erase button, okay? There you have it, the element is erased, okay? And then you click another element, just click suppress right here, okay? There the element is going to be erased again, as you can see. Okay, now let's build an AND function for any of these outputs. I'm going to keep order of these elements, okay? I'm just going to keep the first element to the first input and the first output to the first output. Okay, I'm going to use two contacts for the AND function, okay? So just select the rung that you want or where you want to place the elements and click 1, 2 elements. Remember where we are building the AND sequence. And then I'm going to need an output element. And as you can see, it is automatically displayed in another in the right location. Remember, a ladder diagram is divided by 2 with an imaginary line in half. Left elements are going to be inputs and right elements are going to be outputs. Notice that all the elements that I have placed in the first rung are identified with a question symbol, okay? An interrogation symbol, each one of them. That's because these are not addressed yet, so I have to address them. Let's say that this is going to be the first input and this is going to be the second input, so that will be input 0 0 and this is going to be input 0 1. There are several ways that we can address the input elements as well as the output elements. One very simple is that we can just double click over the element and as you can see the window changes to a text box and we can just copy the address element that we want to direction to the input. For example, it will be I'm writing capital I, double point, then 1, and then I'm just going to click /0 0, and that's going to be the first input for this element. It's just like the address that I have here, okay? So this button is going to be addressed to this contact, or this button is going to be addressed to this contact, okay? And other thing that you can do is put the cursor or locate the cursor over the window that you want to address, like this input 0 1. Wait for the code, the input code to appear, click over it, keep it clicked, okay, and then just drag it over the question symbol, and then the button is going to be addressed automatically to the element in the ladder diagram, okay? Again, just remember, you can write the address for the element, or you can just select it and drag it over the element. I'm going to do it again with this output element. I want this lamp to be turned on, so I'm going to put the cursor over the address button, output, sorry, I'm going to drag over the ladder symbol that I want to be addressed for the lamp, and just let go the button, and there is automatically addressed. Okay, let's see how it works. I'm going to go over this window. This is going to be the work window for most of the simulations that we're going to do with the input-output simulation. Okay, so I'm just going to go over this arrow, over this arrow button, and then I'm going to see what is the work menu or simulation menu for the PLC. See, this is going to be a very critical step for the program to run. It's just like it would be done in the RC Logix, just like the one from the Allen Bradley company. Okay, so here I'm going to go download. The program is going to compile, is going to check if there's any errors, and then I'm just going to go for the run button. Okay, so now my program is running. I'm going to click this button. Okay, as you can see, it's not going to let go any energy because this button is also open. But if I click again, then I can see that this element is going to be active. So what can I do if I can't sustain these two buttons simultaneously at the same time? Okay, so what I could do is just change the elements for a sustained positions, just like this contact or a normally closed push button. I'm going to change them right here. I'm just the simulation is running, and I just clicked the right button and changed the buttons. And as you can see, these are now normally closed buttons. If these are active, then the contacts change of positions. Notice that a yellow rectangle appears behind the code, the input code for these two contacts. That means these elements are closed and are letting energy through. Okay, if this one is letting energy through and this one is letting energy through, then I can activate my output. My output now has a yellow rectangle, and that yellow rectangle means that it's working. So if I go back to the output column that I addressed the output in the ladder diagram, then I can see that my lamp or my corresponding output is working. That means my program is running properly. I can also change for any other button that I want. I can put limit switches, and I can put normally closed limit switches, or I can change for interrupters. It's going to keep sustained, and this other one is going to be sustained as well. So my simulation with the PLC or ladder diagram is working properly. Okay, let's now talk about the OR function. The OR function in this simulator. How can I go back to the work window? I'm just going to go to this set PLC to program, and I can go back to the edition menu or edition configuration. Okay, so here I can build again or modify in any way that I want, modify again my diagram. Let's now put this in parallel. So what I will need is another rung. But teacher, you have this one available. Actually, no, I can't work in this one. And why is that? Because this is going to be the end of my program. It's more affordable to put another rung for this another exercise, the OR function. So I will have to go back to the work button menu, and then I can put another rung. Here I can just drag this element. See what I'm doing? I'm going to get a click over it, left click, a normal click. I'm just going to select it and keep clicking and drag it as it like I'm dragging an image in Word or even PowerPoint. I'm going to drag it and locate it in any of these red boxes that appears in any other rung. So here I have it. I have one button for this output and I have one button for this another output. But teacher, this input it's not addressed or it's not going to activate any input. Not to worry, any output, sorry, not to worry. We can just copy the element that we want and address it the same way. Okay, that's what we can do. It's going to work exactly the same. Now let's run the program. Remember, go to this arrow button. Okay, go to download, compile the program, check for any errors. Okay, and finally click again run. And now we can see the two buttons are closed and both outputs in the ladder program are going to activate the same output physically. If I open any of these, then the element is going to keep, at least at this point, an open section for this element. And if I open it again, then it's going to be turned on. See, the two elements have to be done because this is going to be the same output. This is going to be the same output. But how can I do if I want to keep one element with another? Okay, very simple. This is not going to work. We have to change it to a branch function. Okay, how can we do that? We're going to go back to the program menu, then change here, and then add one of these branches. What could we do if we want to name the element the same way? Very simple. What we made here is another version of AND. Okay, I just wanted to show you how can you copy the same element, but it's going to keep doing the same function that it did earlier. So we have to make a derivation using a branch. And here we're going to place the element just like I told you, drag it in the middle, and then this one, drag it again on the middle. And there we have what is the actual real OR function. Okay, I'm just going to keep that output and then run again the software. I'm going to open these two and go back to the simulation window, download and run. And as you can see, the element it's not turned on. I'm going to keep it closed, the first input. I'm going to open it and then click again here. And as you can see, the PLC program is running properly. Remember, don't go with the easy way. Always try to build your ladder diagram as if you are doing it in real life. Okay, and remember, these are just representations of the actual buttons. And if we are going to use an output of this actual window, then we have to name it according to any of these, and always using, remember, always using this button. The output, this button is going to be named just like this output, physical output in the input output window.